My question is not quite as serious as Gary's was. Sorry.
What a shame.
What's
your favorite color?
Yeah. I don't know what yours is, but
camouflage. It's a color. It's a smattering of colors.
I'm in the military. I appreciate that.
Oh, well, thank you for your service. What branch?
Maybe.
Awesome. Thank you for your service.
So my question is, I've seen you and John Krasinski get mixed up on social media.
We do.
And given that you both have had this meteoric rise in the past 5 years, I'm curious, has that had any unintended consequences on your career, and have you and John been able to have fun with that?
I don't know John. I've literally bumped into him once or twice over the years, and both being on NBC concurrently at the same time, you would think that we would have probably bumped into each other more, but there's so many people at those NBC events and all that jazz. No, I don't know. I mean, look, I find it to be comical. I don't ever take any insult in it because, he's a good-looking, successful dude. It's like, if somebody was like, you remind me of a young Danny DeVito, I'd be like, what? How is that even possible? Literally, like, how? Sorry, Danny, I love you. I'm not knocking Danny DeVito. Anyway, you understand what I'm saying. Anyway, the point is, no, I think it's all funny. I mean, there's a term in my family of being Krasinski, because there's places that I'll go sometimes, and somebody's like, oh my God, can I get a picture with you? And like, while we're about to take the picture, like, I loved you in the office, and everybody's like, snap, and you're like, what? And do you have the heart to tell them that they got the wrong guy? It's like, thank you. I'll tell Steve Carell he said hi. But I don't know that I don't think it's hurt or helped us in any way. I don't know. I mean, your career is kind of your career. Everyone in the industry knows that we're different people, so that's helpful. That's good. And yeah, he's been doing awesome stuff, and directing and going and just killing it. And I'm just grateful for the path that I've been on, And I do hope one day we get to work together, or do something funny that nods to this consistent. It's like I kind of feel like we're the male equivalent of Jessica Chastain and Bryce Dallas Howard. Like that's like the what I'm talking about? No, never mind. Okay, thank you for your question, sir. Appreciate it. Hi.
My name is Charlize. I'm from Baltimore. Thank you for coming to our city.
Thank you for being here in your city.
Well, happy belated birthday.
Thank you.
And my question is, since you just had a birthday you had, best case scenario, what does the rest of your life look like?
Best case scenario, what does the rest of my entire life look like? All right, let's go there. Best case scenario, the rest of my life looks something like I want to use every bit of my platform and privilege to go make the world a better place. That's what I want to do, and I think that I have been given so much. And it's not lost on me, and I'm so grateful for it, and I'm in the process of, like Nerd HQ was part of that. I think I figured out after 38 years, ringing in yesterday, and again, tons of therapy, which I highly recommend for anyone out there if you're going through anything in your life. Even if you don't feel like you're going through anything in your life, it is one of the most valuable things you can do. And self-love. Go learn what it means to love yourself and care. Oh, I'm gonna cry. Oh, I'm gonna cry. I'm not gonna cry. I saw Katie's face, and all of a sudden I started crying. Stop it! Stop. What was I saying? So through all of that, what I think I learned about myself, or one of the things I've learned about myself, is that ever since I was a kid, my heart and my head work in a particular way between my intellect and my empathy, where if I see things, like I analyze everything. I analyze rooms and chairs, again, go back to products, but experiences, and I check them out and I look at their engineering. And I test them because I think everything in our lives should be efficient and should be humane. And when something is not efficient or humane, I want to change it. I feel this like unquenchable desire. Like I can't stop wanting to make a better thing, a better mousetrap every single time. And that's where Nerd HQ came from. I went to conventions and different conventions, and but specifically one, and there were a lot of things that I found lacking in that experience. I found it lacking for actors and for patrons and for vendors and everybody. And I think there could always be a better thing. And I think if we can. The biggest thing that we have to do, and if this is, I'll preach self-love till I die, and loving others until I die, but we have to start valuing people over profits. We have to do that with every single business in this entire world. Pharmaceuticals and food and oil and energy and whatever it is. I don't care what field you work in, if your field is not valuing human life, or really just life, the life that is in every plant, every animal, every human, if we can flip, like here's the people icon, and here's the money icon, and there's that Pac-Man thing, you know what I'm talking about? That Pac-Man mouth should always be facing the people. It should never be facing the money, because if we value life over money, we all win, and we'll win all day long. If we value money over life, then we all lose. And sometimes it looks like, oh yeah, we're gonna make a lot of money up front. And then we all start slipping and sliding all the way down to the bottom, and I think that's where we're at now. So my legacy the rest of my life, I wanna go make a ton of money, and I wanna go flip it and go start putting it toward making the world a better place. And by the way, and I hope to continue to make money. I think conscientious capitalism, go be successful, go kill it in the world, go have a lovely life and take care of yourself and your family and your friends. And at the same time, you can take some of that and go take care of other people. We can do it. Because we're all worth it. We're all worthy of that love. That's what I want to do.
Thank you. I think you're doing it, and I pray you continue.
Thank you. Thanks for making me cry. I appreciate it.
Hi. So I just wanted to have this quote circled at the bottom of a comic I was going to do. Would you say it's safe to assume that Shazam's or Billy Batson's favorite movie is in fact Tangled?
I'm sorry, say that again?
Is in fact Billy Batson / Shazam's favorite movie is in fact Tangled?
That Billy Batson's favorite movie is Tangled?
Yes.
What evidence brought you to this conclusion?
Because you voiced Flynn Rider in Shazam.
I voiced Flynn Rider?
So I thought that would be funny.
I don't know. No, I don't think it'd be safe to say that Billy Batson's favorite movie is Tangled. First of all, he's foster kid, so I don't know how often he's even sitting down and, he's been looking for his parents for a long time. But, and he's also kind of like, he's like this kid. He's like, yeah, I'm on the streets. I'm like making it happen. So maybe it is Tangled, actually. I don't know. Flynn Rider seems to be that guy. Yeah, I'm on the streets. I'm doing it. Foster kid, yeah. What would Billy Batson's favorite movie be? I don't know. So for lack of a better answer, then yeah, I'm just going to go with yours. I think that's fine. Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it. Hi.
Hi, how are you? I'm Rebecca May Purvis. I am from College Park, kind of. I currently live there. So two things. Marvel, Disney are now one. So you kind of been in two worlds, maybe not necessarily.
I was the link, really. I think that all happened because of me. So yeah.
Okay, all right. Also, I wanted to say thank you to our interpreters, both the woman here and the man sitting over there. If you have a chance, please learn ASL because it is a wonderful language and it really is a great bridge between the hearing world and the deaf world. And it's actually pretty easy. Those are not my questions. So my one question.
But a good plug nonetheless. Yeah.
My one question that I have is, it seems as though you might be drawn to supernatural, science fiction sort of roles, at least in the big screen and the small screen. What would you say is the draw to that? I mean, Heroes Reborn, Chuck, Tangled, Shazam, even maybe telenovela a little bit because there was that cliffhanger where you kind of fell off the cliff and then you survived somehow. So, I mean,
well, that makes it science fiction.
I mean, hey, like science fiction.
That's funny. No, I don't know. I mean, honestly, these careers are not as controllable as one might think. I mean, there are definitely things that I've gone out for specifically because I like them, or I thought they would be a good choice or a move or whatever. But I mean, Shazam happened to me. I don't know if anybody of you guys have heard this before. I'll definitely talk about it more when I do the press tour for Shazam, but I passed on Shazam. I got an email slip from my agency 2 months before I got the job, and they said, hey, we got an audition for Shazam, for the role of Shazam. Now, I knew that Dwayne The Rock Johnson, which I believe is his real name, had already been cast as Black Adam. I know how famous Dwayne The Rock Johnson is, and I know how massive Dwayne The Rock Johnson is, and I know that Shazam and Black Adam are essentially the yin to each other's yang. We are like, doppelgangers, except one of us has a weird, kind of widow's peak haircut and some pointier ears, and a much more drab color scheme. Anyway, so I was like, aren't they? I said back to my agency, I said, aren't they looking for really famous people and/or super jacked guys? And the response might as well have been like the emoji guy, like this guy, like we don't know. It was like that. And so I essentially, emailed back, said I feel like I'd be wasting everybody's time, and so I passed. 2 months later, I put myself on tape for a supporting role in the movie that felt like it was way more my wheelhouse. And again, it wasn't because I thought, oh, I need to go do this movie. It was because look, you don't know when your next job is going to be. Acting is a feast and famine world. It is a really, you could work for a while. I did Less Than Perfect for 4 years, then I didn't work for about a year, then I got Chuck for 5 years, and then within that I got some different jobs. But, I thought I'll be in the lead of a show, I'll be able to go, and then it was like, okay, well, I'm still cruising, and I'm doing some things, and I didn't get to do Thor, and then I got to be in Thor, and then they killed me in Thor, and then, it's like, so you never know what's going to happen. So I was like, fine, I'll put myself on tape for this movie, and we'll see what happens. And I put myself on tape for this other role, and the director and producers and the studio saw it and said that they hadn't cast their Shazam yet. And they said, we think that could be our Shazam. And they told me that, and I was like, say what? What's going on? And, really, I feel like they, in the same way that the Wizard sees in Billy Batson the character that is necessary to be Captain Marvel Shazam, I feel like New Line and my director and producer saw in me the character necessary to be this character. And I'm forever grateful for that. I hope that I get to build more of my career on that, but it wasn't because I was like, oh, I really like that genre, and I like that movie, and I think that thing, and I'm going to go after that, and I'm going to go get that. I wish it was that easy.
So would you say you don't have a preference for genre?
No, I love all genre. I just, I think part of it is because Chuck is what most people know me from. That gave me a beautiful audience in the genre kind of demographic, which I am forever grateful for. And then therefore people see that value and go, oh, we can put him in Heroes Reborn, or we can cast him in this, or we can cast him in that. And then beyond that, it was tough to. The other thing that Chuck did also was it kind of puts a label on me of like, oh, he's that nerdy guy, he's that geeky guy, and that can be lovely in some ways because I definitely embrace that and identify with that, but I also am much more than that. So it can be really tough how you got to navigate some of that stuff. But I love, come on, like genre, anything, sci-fi, anything. I want to go fly spaceships, guys. I desperately want my Han Solo movie, whatever that's going to be. What's that? Yeah, all of it. I think. We need more adventure movies. Like, the 80s was chock full of adventure. Like Romancing the Stone. Like, I want to go do a movie like that. You know what I mean? Cartagena. Anyway. Yes, hi.
Wait, I hate to interrupt. This is going to be our last question.
No, but we have like 20 people.
I'm exhausted.
Okay, everybody ask your question at the same time. I'm exhausted. You didn't have to come out here. Okay, last question.
So I have 2 questions. One, what do you think about my cosplay?
What do it? Looks great. What are you?
Clockwork from Creepypasta.
You're who? What?
It's from a trilogy, Creepypasta.
Creepypasta?
Yes.
Okay. Well, then you look sufficiently creepy.
And the second one is, can me and my 2 friends have a group hug?
I can't do. Oh, I'm so sorry, but I'm sending you an energy hug right there. There you go. All right.
Thank you.
Love you guys. Thank you very much. Yes, I'm gonna do one more because I see a Rapunzel and a Flynn behind you guys. I feel like that's fitting to end on. Like, look at the cosplay there. Are you guys also from Creepypasta? Yes. Yes, fantastic. Specific. I'm gonna let these guys ask a question. Is that okay, girls? Okay. Oh, sorry. Did you have a question? Okay. No, go ahead. Wow, this got really awkward really fast. I'm so sorry.
I just found out you were Flynn. Like, someone said it earlier, and I was like, what?
Yeah.
That was the guy?
I'm the guy.
I actually have a question. I just want to say.
You always thought it was John Krasinski.
Hey.
So, what's your question?
Oh, she had a question, and it was, Flynn is a very much like a rise from the ashes kind of character, from a thief and doesn't care about anybody, from growing up and getting more kinder and trying. Do you feel like that's the correct way he would have gone with that? Do you think if he didn't meet Rapunzel and had a chance to think it through and...
Well, yeah, clearly. I mean, that's what their love story, the impact that both of them have on the other, I think, is what is one of the most beautiful things about that movie. And it changes Flynn in pretty drastic ways because he wasn't, up until that point, he was, he was a survivor. He was just trying to survive life, and that got him into a life of crime, and but very charmingly. He was a very charming Robert. But, then to find someone so pure. Like, I remember watching the movie. I mean, I was in the movie, and I remember watching Mandy bring Rapunzel to life, and I was smitten. It was like one of the most adorable. I was like starting to have a crush on a cartoon character. I was like, this hasn't happened since I was 5. and it was so well done. It was so well animated, but also Mandy brought such an incredible purity. I don't know how else to say it, but there's a real purity, and Dan Fogelman's words and her voice, and there was something that even as an audience member, you're watching it going, I feel changed by this. I feel the joy in this, and I feel the hope in this, and I feel like, love is real and good, and so I think that was definitely always the journey that he was going to take, and it was good that he met Rapunzel.
Has moments where he has a struggle with that a little bit, like he's like the trying.
Well, yeah, because he wants his satchel back. Clearly. Oh yeah, this is that one. But no, I mean, of course he struggles with it because he's just learning about all that stuff for the first time. All right, we gotta go. I know we gotta be done. Thank you everybody so much. I love you.